Let's explore dynamic data in Mosaic. It can come from lots of different sources. For example, blog posts, taxonomies like categories and tags, user data, custom post types, and more. Let's see what that actually means in practice. Here's a job listing card on our website. Right now, this is static content. So if we want to update anything, we have to do it manually. Instead, we can pull this data dynamically from a job's custom post type, which is much cleaner and much easier to maintain. In this example, I'm using ACF to provide the custom post type, the taxonomy, and the meta fields. Mosaic takes all of that and turns it into design-ready variables you can use anywhere. For the ACF configuration, I've got the jobs post type here. For taxonomies, I have categories like sales or human resources. And for the field groups, I've got requirements. For the fields, salary and location. And I have made a few jobs here already. Inside one, we can see the data we will be using later, the title of this post, the post content, the categories on the right, and the requirements at the bottom. All right, time to build. Here's the homepage of my job advertising website. I want to list the latest job offers using the previously created job post type. Let's make that happen. For this, I'll scroll down first, right here. Then, open the Add panel and drop a container onto the canvas. Next, back to the Add panel again, and add a loop element. A modal pops up where we can choose the loop source. I'll select Filtered Jobs. And just like that, each job is already listed. It's working. But let's be honest, it could look a lot better. We can enter the loop with the Edit button on the toolbar or by double-clicking. Inside the loop, we've got the Items element that will duplicate the item element, which holds the design. Inside each loop item, we've got an image and a link by default, but I'd rather use an existing design, so everything inside the item can go. Right-click and delete, or use the shortcut if you are feeling speedy. We don't need pagination either, so let's remove that too. Now we are left with a clean, empty item. Let's head back to the Add panel and drop in a library element. Then, from the team blocks, pick Team 22. Nice! This block here has a row with a job card layout. That's the part we want. Here in the navigator, just drag it from the container and drop it into the loop item. The rest of that section isn't needed, so let's delete that. Great. As you can see, the card is duplicated a few times. That's the loop doing its own thing. Now, we only need to design one card and the rest will update. However, this is all still static content. So let's connect the data, select the job title, then click the dynamic data icon in the toolbar. We get this list of available variables, and if you hover over any of them, you'll see some details about it. Let's lock this in and insert it. And there it is. All previously static job titles are now updated dynamically. I'll do the same for the location. Select the element, open the dynamic data, and choose the location variable. Nice. Now the salary. Same as before, open the dynamic data and select the variable. Right now, it's just a number, which is not exactly a currency. We should probably update it. The nice part, though, you can mix static text with dynamic values. Just edit the element. It gets selected automatically so we can move the cursor in front using the mouse or the left arrow key. Then we'll add a $sign. Tap the right arrow, move past the number, and add the rest. Much better. Next up, the badges on the right. Here we'll use the categories loop variable, and inside that, we want the category name. Using the selector at the bottom, we can choose to show a specific item, or display all of them. I'll insert all items, and hit it again to add it. Awesome, we got a comma-separated list of the categories here in the badge, but I would rather have each category appear in a badge on their own. So let's delete this badge button in the navigator, and from the Add panel, drag in a loop element, and select the loop type from the list, which is the categories. Great. It looks a little bit off, so let's give it a glow up. First, get rid of the second item element here, which displays the comma between the categories. We don't need this. Now, only this link element is left here, which is cool, but this is not a badge, just a plain link. The cool thing is that in Mosaic, we can switch between a link and a button super quick using the toolbar here. And now, from the class dropdown, apply the badge subclass with the secondary variant. That's more like it. The last thing here, the direction. Select parent, then items, and change the direction to row. And there it is. I'll change the gap here as well real quick. Great, we are almost there. Next up, the job description. But first, let's reset the toolbar. Then, from the dynamic data, we'll use the content variable. That's a bit much. Job listings don't need an essay. It also has some weird gaps in there. And this is where functions save the day. Functions let us tame the output a bit. Go back to the variables. If we inspect the output here, we'll see extra HTML in the content. Select the entire thing. Then, on the right, open the Functions dropdown. Use the function that removes HTML. Time to check how it looks. That definitely looks better, but it is still long, so let's fix that. Select the dynamic code here and open the functions list. To limit the content, we could use the excerpt function. The second parameter here controls the number of characters. Let's set it to maybe 300. That's a reasonable amount. Now let's check it out again. This looks much better. Last piece, the link. First, let's rename it to Read More. Then grab the URL dynamically from the custom post type permalink. And there it is. At this point, we've fully turned a static layout into a dynamic section. Now, let's make a few layout adjustments. The items feel a bit flat, so let's switch the grid to 2 columns. Much better. Next, select the parent, which is the loop itself. And in the advanced panel, you can limit how many items appear. For example, set it to 4 and you'll see only 4 of them. We can also filter the loop based on a condition. For example, only show jobs that include customer success. And just like that, the list updates. Honestly, I don't really need the filter now, so I'll remove it, but this is super powerful. Let's do future us a favor and convert this card into a component. I'll call it Job Card. Set it to be a part, and I'll keep it uncategorized for now. Next, we'll do the same for the entire loop. Select it using the context menu here, and create a component the same way. This one will be Job Cards. Nice! Everything's ready. Let's go back to templates using the Mosaic menu and make a new one. First up, we'll create a template for our job listings. I'll call this one Jobs. For the template type, we're looking for the archive of our jobs. Now let's head to the Add panel and drop in a library element. Select Page, then choose Blog Archive. I'll go with Blog Archive 4. Okay, let's give it a quick glow up. Inside the loop, I'll remove the grid from the item element. And instead, I'll drop in the job component card we built earlier. Nice. Now, all of our jobs are listed here automatically using the same design. And we've got this pagination here too, which we can edit all parts of, but I'm fine with the default. Instead, I will edit the No Results element here. Mine currently says No Results Found. You can build any design here, and that will appear when there is no data to be displayed. I'll change the text here to No Jobs Found. Now, let's make a template for a single job too. For that, we'll go back to Templates and make a new one. This time, I'll call it Job. For the template type, we want Single Job. I've already prepared a block with content, so I'll add that real quick. Nothing fancy here. Basically, the same data we have inserted previously, just outside the loop this time here. Next, I'll add a post content element. This pulls in the post content exactly as it's written, formatting and all. There's one last thing for this template. I want to show similar jobs to this one below, so let's go back to the Add panel and add a new section. Inside this container, I'll drop in the Job Cards component. There it is. Let's scroll down a bit to check it out. This looks solid, but it currently does not show the jobs I want. I want similar jobs, and I do not want to include the current job listing here either. So I'll edit the instance, open the settings, and add a new filter here. First, let's exclude the current job listing from the similar jobs. For the operator, we need excludes. And for the value, we could try and look for the current post, but that wouldn't work, as it would exclude the same listing from all job posts. That's not what we want. Instead, we want to dynamically exclude the current post. And to do that, we just need to insert the ID variable here. And when I apply it, the current post is excluded just like that. Great, now let's extend this filter. We can extend this rule with the plus button here. This time, go with categories. And we want to show the jobs that include the category of the current one. And conveniently enough, we already have the includes operator selected. For the value, same as before, we'll add it dynamically. Select the categories variable, and then the category ID. As a quick tip, you can select the category name variable and check the result, just to see what category the category ID refers to. Instead of the first item, which is just one category, let's include all of them. Now let's see it again. Much better. One more thing left. Head back to the templates using the Mosaic menu. And a little bit down here, we have a contact template. And after this hero section here, I want to show the latest job offer. And while we could use a loop and limit it to a single item, there is a better way to do it. Select the container, head to the Settings tab. And here we'll use the Dynamic Sources option. And for the source itself, select the job post type. And now we can insert the dynamic data. Same as before, select the element and open the dynamic data panel. To make it easier, we can filter the source to our newly added job data source and select the title variable. There it is. Same thing for the content. Change the source and select the variable. And don't forget to apply the functions either. Remove HTML first, then excerpt, and change the second parameter to 300. That's more like it. And lastly, the button link here. Same as before, change the source, then select the variable. Awesome. All right, time to recap. In Mosaic, you can insert data as dynamic data coming from multiple different sources. To insert dynamic data, you can add a loop element and use the dynamic data icon on the toolbar. You can even insert a loop variable like the categories here. You can use functions to further refine the output, like removing HTML from the content. You can get the data source from the template directly, like the single job post template, or the jobs archive. And you can even add sources dynamically, like we did for this container. Now you have a basic idea of how dynamic data works in Mosaic. So go ahead and build something amazing. And that's it. Thanks for watching. If this helped, hit subscribe and join the Mosaic community. You'll find the link in the description.